today I wanted you to speak about the negative narrative that people have about retirement, because that's why I think they don't even mention they're retiring. They even quit job early. That is for them, early retirement. And they never say that's when you lack them, or maybe you lose them at your working desks.
Yeah, from a counselor's point of view, when you retire, it's a major change in life, and we are told changes in life can stress us, can be negative. You know, we kawaida, we like doing what we usually are doing. So when you retire, it's a sudden major change in life, and from the psychological point of view, people don't like change. So that's why we don't talk about it, we don't prepare, we wish it away. Yeah,
And would you advocate for early retirement?
I would if somebody is prepared. Like currently, I'm working with a young man who told me he was doing a humdrum job in a bank, and he's decided to retire and just do what he loves, and he's helping me with the writing of my second book. So if you feel your job is not fulfilling and you are talented, gifted, you want to pursue your gifts, I can encourage you to retire. But if you are the kind who wants to be employed until you retire from the job, then go on.
Okay.
Yeah.
In fact, our viewer there, in case you're just wondering, Roslyn is an author, and she has written a book here, and it looks very, very nice and interesting. In case you would want to reach out to the book, she's going to leave her details with us, and when she's going to share the details with you. Now, Roslyn, how well can we invest before we retire?
Okay, investing for retirement. That is the topic of my second book.
Yes.
I noticed we fear retirement because the salary will stop coming.
Exactly.
And if you're used to a salary like me, I've worked for 32 years, then one day unaenda bank na hakuna kitu,
pesa inaingia.
it's fearful.
Okay.
So one way of preparing well is to plan. Somebody has said, he who fails to plan plans to fail.
Okay.
And the Bible in Ephesians 2:5-6 talks about us being wise. We should be wise in the way we live. Psalm 90 also tells us our average lifespan is 70 years. So we should use it the way God would wish us to use it. So Ephesians 5:15-16, life is a gift from God that we need to use well. That's why we need to plan for every phase of life, including retirement.
Wow. Sometimes we lose identity when we retire. Okay, we are no longer in power. Maybe someone was very high.
Yeah.
He was working in a very high seat, and once they retire, we lose identity. How well can we cope with this?
I think one day, like I'm saying, first of all, accept it. Know that as you are aging, a day will reach when you stop going to that office. A day will reach when people stop calling you sir, madam, the way we are called.
Exactly.
And a day will reach when your phone will stop ringing. Just plan for it and start. I heard Pastor Callisto Odede say retirement is to retire, to put on new tires for the next phase in the journey. So plan for that next phase and know your identity can be found in other places, especially if you believe in God. Then I think find your purpose in God, among your family, your community, your country. It's so wide.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah, so you can't say it's just that job you amuka every day, 8 to 5, that defines you. I'm a mother. That defines me. I'm a wife. I'm a church member in my church here in KU. That defines me.
Some people are farmers.
Yeah, and I'm a Kenyan.
It's
I'm
true.
a Kenyan. You can be a businesswoman. You can define yourself in writing. I did English literature and language.
Wow.
But the idea of writing just came the other day when I realized there was a gap in society which I could address by researching on it, asking people who have gone before me how they handled it, and sharing this thing in form of a book.
Wow.
Yeah.
And under the same, there is limited power. Limited power as in, for example, now when you're retired, you can no longer go to bank to borrow money.
Yeah.
And I believe by then, you'll be needing money. Because by then, you will be needing money, but you can't be able to visit the banks because you are no longer employed. How else can we solve this?
That's why we say start planning for retirement from an early age. As soon as you are employed, join a SACCO. For us teachers, we have Mwalimu SACCO and other SACCOs, cooperatives, where you take your money as little as at 500 per month. And if you are still young and you have worked for 30 years the way I've done, I was trying to calculate, what if I joined Mwalimu, immediately I was employed in around 1990, saved 500 a month or 1,000 a month. all those years, there's the power of compound interest. That money will multiply every year. You get dividends. So kidogo 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 hujaza kibaba.
Exactly.
A journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. So I want to say your salary can never be too small. Even the people in Juakali, put it in your M-Pesa. The M-Pesa has the 52-day savings challenge.
Yeah.
There is something I've heard them saying, another form of savings which they say, an insurance which you give 3,000 in your phone. I heard them advertising it here in Kenya. So look for the one that suits you and your pocket, and don't say it's too little. Even you're in Juakali, you can go to the chama. I belong to a ladies chama, where we save money, we do merry-go-rounds to help us make more, and then we invest. When the chama grows, you can buy a plot. Recently, I was in Kitengela, and I saw a plot bought by border borders. They have saved enough to go to a cheap place, buy a plot. Then you start, you are given two rooms.
They subdivide their...
Then you add those 2 rooms into a house. So start where you are.
So there's no any particular time that you should start saving. Start saving as early as you can.
As early as you can, but even if you didn't save in your earlier days, it's never too late. In my book, I'll talk about people who have redefined themselves in their old age. It's never too late. Kimani Maruge, there was a man in Kenya who went to school when he was over 70, so 80, and he went into the Guinness Book of Records because he wanted to read.
He had desire.
And because of that desire, alijipeleka shule with uniform. This even made him go to America for some conference. So it's never too late. If I was a teacher, a failed teacher, maybe I'll become a farmer after I retire. Those dreams of farming, let me plan for them. Put the plans down. Get mentors, start working on it, start praying about it, and dreaming about it.
Wow. Teacher Roslyn, some other people are caught up with credits when it comes to retirement. What would you advise them? Because
I'd advise people to stop borrowing. Like for me now, I say I'm in the danger zone. I've worked for 32 years, I have 4 years remaining. Make sure you are not in debt by the time you retire. Downscale your life, wachana na madeni. If the house you are living in is too expensive, start moving to a smaller house.
It's true, you start squeezing yourself and compacting yourself so that you may not be caught up with frustrations when it comes to that time. Now, there is another thing about investment. Should we invest on our kids for retirement?
No,
benefits?
But don't take your kids. The money you take to a circle, you can borrow.
Because people have put in mind they should invest for in the kids so that when they retire, the kids will come forth for them.
The kids are not a bank account, chama, but you can prepare your kids to face life. Don't invest. Invest in your kids maybe by giving them a good education, but don't buy them properties, or else they'll start thinking you should die quickly so that they inherit. So,
and they can even kill you. They're going overboard, killing their parents.
For me, it's the values, the Christian values, the mentoring, discipleship, teach them values, life skills, how to stand. And even if you don't have money, they will know how to stand if they have been taught how to stand.
And also, is it okay to advise our children on investing early before retirement when their time comes?
I think we better start teaching our children those saving, the saving habit, the investing habit. Like for me, I didn't inherit anything from my parents, but at least they took me to school. But my first idea when I got married, because my husband was like-minded, we bought a plot before we even got a baby. And I remember my father-in-law coming to Eldoret where we were and saying, you know, we wished we could buy land here, but we never found it. I'm so glad you guys have bought it. You see? And my son now, my firstborn son is married. He has built a house before the baby is even 2 years, because they have seen from our example that whenever we go to a new place, we try to buy a piece of land and think of how we could make a home there.
It's true. Now, we are talking about early investment. And what if you're caught up, you have not invested, because maybe you had a lot of children you were taking care of, or maybe your relatives or some other things, because some things limit us from investing and putting some money for near future. What would you advise? Is it late? No,
I want to tell people it's never too late. If you are a Christian, if you believe in God, if you are whole, you have your health and a brain, get close together with other people. You can get ideas. Like my idea for writing this book came from a young girl who is married to my nephew. She did all the work for me. I just told her I need a cover, I need to put it together, go and print it. So the youth, other age groups, don't say I'm too old to ask the youth what to do, or I'm too young to ask wazee. If you are young, have wazee mentors to mentor you, but don't let money. I think you also have your gifts. God has given you talents, music, singing.
Very true.
All those gifts can help you earn a living. So even if you retire when you don't have your plot right now, relationships, have you invested in good relationships with people back there in your village, at home, or your parents and your family, so that you don't become homeless when you lose that job?
And so that you may not become a burden to people, because I think that fear of becoming lonely. And I was also about to ask you, is it also good to socialize, social network? You relate with the people that you are working with. You can even form a certain forum or like a small group to be reaching out to each other, because these people are the ones you were used to before you catch up in the village.
Thanks for that. That is what I was going to come to towards the end of this talk. That at the end of my book, I'm talking about my dreams, because we don't talk of retirement much in Kenya. I'm thinking of starting a retirement planning center. A center where retired people can be resource persons to help those who are still working to know how to cope with these issues around retirement, finances, emotional, spiritual, physical, and social. And as a result of this book, there are friends of mine who are teachers who retired and have bought the book. I discovered one of them, we normally visit him down country, has started a chama. He's a retired headmaster. After he read my book and we discussed, he started a chama with retired head teachers. And he was telling me they are vetting the members, people of like mind, social, and the social, physical, they have the same interests, so that they can encourage each other financially, merry-go-round, health-wise, attending funerals, sicknesses. There's a chama, I know also of my friends in Ruiru here, who are retired education officers, teachers, who go there, look for people of like mind. And I think for us Christians, start one in your church, with your church mates, where you can go and share common interests.
And it's easy, and then I think we are so many. We are so many under that. So also I would like you to mention about social activities. Social activities is like if you are well in golf, in activities like even a choir master, besides whatever you were doing before. Is it okay?
In my book I mentioned that. I talk about the major aspects you should think of when you retire: the physical, your emotional well-being, your spiritual, and your social relations with others. So in my book I talk more of relationships with family, because those are the closest people you have. Your children. Don't be divorced from your wife, your husband, your children, because when you are old you need people to take care of you. So work on these relationships now while you are still working. If you are single, have close friends whom you can meet anytime. Walk into your house, walk into their house, and enjoy each other's company. That's social capital. We need it.
I think it's very important for that, because even loneliness won't hit you after all. And then there is, you observe good health and social activities. Like for example, if someone feels okay, they can even visit the gym, they can go for swimming, such things, for physical activities. Because unajua pale kwa ofisi, we are always controlled. Chai ya saa 4, lunchtime ni saa 7, but when you are at home, you eat because you can see food.
I think the physical, that is under the physical aspect. I think of exercise, walking. You can walk, you can jog, whatever suits you and your state of health, but also the health aspects of it. Because after you retire, you may not have the NHIF. That's why I'm thinking we have to think of even the long-term medical care. Or how will you take care of yourself? If you'll afford medical, NHIF pay for that. If you can afford, go for an annual checkup. Things like blood pressure, diabetes and all that. Normally it's better to go early, once a
annual
year.
checkup.
Go
It's
for
very
a checkup.
important, especially with that age. I think it's also nice to observe your bodies. Teacher Roslyn, allow me to take a short break and then we'll be right back. Our viewer, you've heard about the topic. It's very interesting. Whether you are retired, whether you're still working, it's a very important topic for our lives. So we take a short break. We'll be right back. Don't touch that dial.
saints go marching in, oh when the saints go marching in, oh Lord I want to be among the number, oh when the saints go marching in.
Iron sharpens iron.
And as a father, have you ever thought the best gift you can give to your lineage?
Life is not about the gifts we win. It's about the people we love.
Catch us every Tuesday from 8 to 9 on Elders Council,
a show where
all men issues matter.
4 decades ago, we started In Touch Ministries to lead people worldwide into a growing relationship with Jesus Christ. Throughout the years, we've seen God's greatness, His love and His blessings in such awesome ways that we just want everyone to know Him.
You know where you are in your life today. If you're facing something that's very difficult, remember this: never too difficult for God. He knows where you are. He's there to help you. He never runs out of whatever's necessary to help you. And he wants you to trust Him step by step. And whatever you're facing, you'll always come out right.
Heavenbound TV, so do hundreds of thousands of your potential customers.
My name is Rebecca Angoi. Welcome to Life in Ministry.
Gospel reggae fist.
Heavenbound TV is the fastest growing Christian channel offering cost-effective and affordable rates. Your customers will see you, feel you, and love it. To advertise, contact us on 0722 111 107 or email us at heavenboundtvstation@gmail.com. You're watching us now, aren't you?
Every day, a life is lost as a result of one disease or another. But we count on the number of lives which are saved. That is why here in Health Booth, we will be educating each other on how to live a healthy lifestyle. Join me, David Ngure, every Wednesday from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. as we will learn more about our health.
The Proverbs 31 woman is described as godly, wise, and industrious. She goes out of her way to make sure that her needs and those of her family are met. This is where we invite such women to share their success stories so as to encourage, inspire, and motivate other women. Join us every Thursday from 8 p.m. for Women in Business Show with me, Millie Okello. See you then.
Oh, when the saints go marching in, 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 oh, Lord, I want to be
back to our show today. This is Daughters of Favor. I have teacher Rosalind with me. We were talking about retirement and how we can invest well before we retire. It's a very important topic. You guys, you need to follow us. In case you're just joining us, you can follow us through our social media platforms. That is Facebook, Heavenbound TV, hashtag Daughters of Favor. Karibu tena, Rosalind. Yeah, we were somewhere talking about investment, and I really wanted you to tell us what kind of investments should we invest in ourselves?
Investments are two kinds. There is investment in yourself and investment out there. The investment in yourself means adding or multiplying what you have. If you read the story of Matthew, where the talents were given and people multiplied, whatever they were given, the gift, the talent, they sharpened it, they made it useful, and it produced fruit. Like now, I told you I did English language and literature. Now I'm practicing it by trying my hand at writing.
Yes.
I did counseling. I'm practicing it by trying to counsel people, to mentor people. I'm presently going through life coaching. I want to try coaching people.
Wow.
You learn the word of God. Why don't you practice it by going to preach to people around you? So that is the capital, investing in yourself. You may not have gone far in school, but you can develop skills and gifts even by yourself. In the internet, we have so much about anything, finances. Anything you want to learn, you can even teach yourself on the internet. And there are also people around you, resource persons, who would be very willing to share with you. So that is the investment in self, but there's investment in material things, and especially when you come to financial aspect. I told you, for me, the Chama has worked, the cooperative society has worked, because I save every month there, and at the end of the year we get dividends, and when I have an issue I want to do, I get loans. Then there are investments. If you are a farmer, the investments in whatever does well in your area, and I'd encourage you to go back to your county and find out county A2 what is there. If you are from Kisumu, like some of us, go and try some fishing there, the thing you can sell to people there. If you come from the rice growing areas, find out how can I add value to this rice so that it makes a difference to my life.
It's true.
Those are the kind of investments in stuff. Then businesses. If you are good at businesses, do something with your hands to make money. Don't sit there now ombe. Just do something. I have a retired friend who keeps chicken, and every other time when she's broke, she tells me, I have a cuckoo to give you here. Can you send me 1,000? You know, eggs or a cuckoo. Do something that gives you money where you are.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true. I like that bit of investing in education, because you can learn something besides whatever you do. You can learn something which can benefit you in the near future after retirement. That's very important. Now, most of our parents have sunk into depression due to the disadvantages we've talked about. What would you advise these people?
For the youth, I want to advise youth on what to do with your parents and the older people. You should first of all know the biblical idea about age. In the Western world, people are struggling so hard to stay young and look young and all that. But in the Bible, we find that age is respected. And there is a verse I want to quote, which I've quoted in my book, Proverbs 20:24, which says, the glory of young men is their strength. Gray hair is the splendor of the old. And I say, have you just seen a strand of gray hair? If I were you, I'd try to accept reality by embracing it, loving it, and meditating on how to make it work for me. So don't fight age, embrace it. For the youth around us, get that wisdom. Tap the wisdom which is in your parents and the older people around you. Treat them with respect, because the way you treat your parents and the older people around, that is how you'll be treated. I think our culture says what goes around comes around. So if you don't visit your parents, you don't treat them well, you're waiting fast for them to die quickly, you inherit wealth, it will happen to you. And that wealth, you'll never get it. If you treat them respectfully, that blessing. I also say in my book that whenever the old bless you, it comes to pass. And I've seen that in my own life. But on issues of depression, please don't be alone. Don't be alone. Even if you've lost a job, your business is not doing well the way Corona did. You maybe everything fell apart, somebody you loved died. Please get around with people, talk to people. Look for a pastor, look for a church, look for a social group where you can belong.
Wow.
Where I go to church, our church is very small, but we have an intercessory group with some ladies. I think we've stuck together for the last 16 years. That group meets almost every day. We share our lives, we share our requests, we share our needs. So you feel so loved that even when somebody moves out of the compound, they always come back to say, I've not found such a fellowship anywhere. So have a group which can
that will
hold you
embrace
and
you.
which can you embrace. It can be a singles group,
Okay.
a widows group, a men's fellowship, youth group, although youth move a lot when they look for jobs and all that.
Wow.
But can you get like-minded youth, either in your profession or your skills and interests, your musicians, and be there for one another?
Wow. I think it's also important to attend to seminars. I don't know whether the seminars are there, but you can just tell us whether there are seminars around where we can visit. And even online learning about retirement.
Online, there's a lot of learning. For me to write my book, I went to the bookshops and I didn't find. I found one book written by a Kenyan on retirement.
Okay.
But in the libraries, there were many books, old-fashioned books from the West. And then online, there are currently people talking about all those topics you want. So I'm always online looking for material on retirement and any other thing that I'm currently interested in. Presently, my husband is researching on making charcoal briquettes. My husband works in Kenyatta University. And the other day I saw him buying unga, mixing with charcoal dust and making the briquettes. There's so much knowledge in the internet that you have no excuse, although they are physical classes. For me to even talk about investment, I attended a class by somebody called Wahome in, they meet in Westlands, a class which I paid for a month, and I attended. We were going Saturdays, so I learned. Now they're called Personal Finance Academy. I learned so much from that class. So what are you interested in? Check the internet, check around. You'll find there's somebody giving a class on that thing which you are interested in.
Interesting. Rosalind, you're just making us more broader. So now you have talked something about children taking care of their parents. So many people have disowned their parents. Once they are educated, they leave home, they forget about their parents. And maybe their parents were working class, so they've already retired. The loneliness, and I think when we embrace our parents, we are more better than the friends, even the society itself.
I think the Bible says if you divorce your parents or you refuse to do your parents' work, to take care of them, claiming maybe your money is given to the church. You may be giving your money and your time to a church with strangers. But if your parent feels divorced, lonely, and dies there, in Kiswahili they say ametelekezwa, then there is no blessing. I once saw a picture on TV of a guy whose parent had a terrible house while he was living in a very good house. It's painful to take care of parents because I'm doing it still. I'm telling you, I've worked for over 30 years, but I'm still taking care of my parents as I take care of my needs. And sometimes I have to choose, do I build my own house or build my parent a house? And I know my parents have few years to live on earth. So why don't I build them that house and then I'll build mine? God gives me grace and years, or else God will touch somebody to build me, although I'll not demand from my children. So as long as my parent is alive, it's my duty to make them smile, to
take care of
and
them.
Bless me.
It's true, because maybe our parents at some point, they never got that chance to get educated, and they made you go to school.
They made us
They facilitated you with everything amidst their struggle.
And not just parents, even in-laws, husband or wife. If it wasn't for that parent, you wouldn't have that husband or wife. So take care of them if you want those blessings.
Wow. Interesting. Now, we have our ideas, a lot of ideas about age, and you slightly mentioned about it, because a lot of people, they fear, being the first one, we fear a lot getting aged. How would you advise us?
I told you to embrace it, to know that the gray hair is the splendor. What is exciting about age is that gray hair. While you are young, the black hair is your fashion and you can do everything with it. But when you age, you may be bald, and that baldness is the splendor. You are respected.
And
people
grace.
Look at you and they see experience. So I'm advising people not to fear each stage of life, childhood, teenage, adolescence, adulthood, motherhood, fatherhood, and then old age and the empty nest syndrome,
Okay.
which I'm going through now. Children away in school,
They
you
are
are
away,
all
yes.
alone, the two of you. Embrace each stage, enjoy it, live in it, and even bless other people by mentoring them and getting mentored on how to cope with it.
Wow.
So don't fight it, don't resist it, just enjoy it and say, how can I make it work for me? For me now, age is working.
Wow.
I'm happy when I go into a matatu and somebody calls me Mushiari.
Exactly, you feel good. And honestly, someone told me that in every age there is grace in that particular season. Wow, that's excellent. Now, would you advise churches to start forums or seminars, because you have told us they are so limited? You hardly get some places where we can get these seminars. Would you advise churches to start forums over the same?
Please, church. I think that's why God brought me here to spread this message to the Kenyan nation, that people are hurting, especially the working people, because they are not planning for their retirement. They are not even planning for their working life. So can churches look for people, look for counselors, look for life coaches, and let's start with even our leaders first. Go for these classes and learn. There's a time a church called me to talk about investing for now and the future. So as we invest for eternity, let's also invest for now. And I was very happy to go with a retired teacher so that she could give them real life example of what she has seen. People dying 2 years after retirement because they never thought it would reach, and when it reached, they were not prepared. They just died of depression and hopelessness. So I think I would wish that we start a conversation around this topic. I'm happy to give you free seminars because this is a calling God has given me. As long as you'll buy 1 or 2 books, I can get my fare back home. So get resource persons, and I'm one of them, to talk to you about these topics. And also research and educate each other.
Wow, excellent. Teacher Rosalind, we've lost a lot of people due to depression. And these people are the ones who have built our economy, who've built our country, who've built us to be the people we are. Our teachers, our former employees, such people. We've lost those people because of maybe they never got this mentorship, they never got these seminars and even these activities. So I think it's very important for our churches, because I think that is the only place we can find these things.
So in the church, get people together in groups where they can open up, where people can miss them and say, so and so is missing. What's wrong with them? In my church group, the intercessory, if you miss on Sunday, somebody will call you and find out.
They will reach out to you.
Yeah, you have to say where you should have somewhere where somebody will miss you and say, why didn't you come? In fact, they normally just come and knock your door and find out you are not in church today. Where were you?
Where were you?
Yeah.
Were you feeling unwell? Or
share
what
your
was
life,
wrong?
your heart, not praise God, niko sawa. Yeah, you may be singing there and giving testimonies, but when I come to your house and you tell me my brother, my sister is depressed, so and so is sick, I'll get to know you. So let's know each other to the level where we open up our homes and our lives. Yeah.
I think when we start these seminars, there will come a point that someone will feel free reaching out to other persons, but then you get to see who is more closer to you, and you start sharing out.
But we can also share with professionals. There are issues maybe you are scared of sharing. If you are scared of sharing with your age mates, neighbors, friends, there are professionals. Like I told you, I've gone through life coaching. I had sessions with a certain lady every week once, talking your dreams, your hopes, your desires, what you would wish to do and how you would wish to do it, and praying about it. So you can get a professional counselor or a life coach to also take you through these things if you don't feel safe to open up in a crowd or in a group.
Yeah, because I think most people are very limited when it comes to working class people. They're so reserved. They don't speak out about their problems as fluent as maybe a business person will do. Now we've talked a lot about these employed people. Let's come to business people. Is it well also for them to invest before? Is there any retirement about these business people? Because we think we work until the last time.
Retirement does not even exist in the Bible. I checked and I saw people are working up to old age. This retirement came when they brought the factories and the industries. Ideally, a person should work until they die. And God says he'll renew renew our strength. So if we are in good health, we can work and up to I don't know what age. Even in this country, even lecturers and doctors don't retire until they reach their 70 because we don't want to waste those brains. So a business person, as long as you have your strength, do your work. But sometimes I get worried about the people whose work depends on physical strength. What of the time when you'll be old or sickly? And that's why I'm saying kidogo kidogo ujaza kibaba. Save kidogo kidogo, invest in something, have a plot somewhere, have a property somewhere, even if it's in your home village, where you can go when you are 70, you don't have to go doing kibarua, where you can go plant some maize and beans and sit in your little hut and just enjoy life, not having to answer to some other person calling you. So business people, I'm challenging you. There are chamas there. Start those chamas, hoping they are done by honest people who will not con you. Start investing in something. As you use your skill, please put it somewhere so that one day it can help you when you are weak and not strong enough to go out daily. But in your children, make sure you also educate your children. Because without education, that's when you find it so hard to do any job where you are not, you get people
when you're
to
not
use their
supposed to be
brains.
working that much, you
to
find
work
yourself
beyond
you're
the working
overworking.
age.
Yes. So it's very important to invest in kids. Okay, it's also important to educate our children for their better future. Now, we were talking about these retirees. These are the lecturers, the teachers, and what have you. Would you advise them to chip in these forums in churches? Because they are educated, yes, and they got ideas, a lot of ideas, where they can come train people on how to cope with life once they retire.
I
to
found
volunteer.
There's a place somewhere I noticed. Churches are full of women and children. And I was asking myself, why are there no men? And I was told because men don't like sitting, they are watching people do. If you want to involve men, get them to teach others what they have, to share their skills with others. That way they'll be involved. So we can get men. What is your skill? I'm a builder. Come and tell us what to do about building.
About this.
I'm a carpenter. Come and tell us what to do with those. What is in those people? Let's use their gifts to mentor others. In fact, there's a mzee who was saying in a church somewhere, I think he was fed up of being taught by women and children and youth. So he was saying, why can't somebody call me to share all the experience I've gathered over the years? Because if you look at the way he's brought up his sons, they are very well brought up. Everyone is well set. You can see in his family he has done a good job. And the church says the quality of leadership, a leader should be measured by how he has brought up his children. So if a guy has brought up his children well, why can't we use him as a resource person to help the younger
people, to mentor them?
He may not be singing in the choir or going for Bible study the way we do as ladies, but hapo kwake where he sits every day,
nicely
he has
in
a lot of
way.
experience which can help somebody.
It's true.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Amazing, amazing. You people, I hope you're listening to this, because we really need you in church, and we really need your advice and your guidance. Also, Teacher Roslyn, we've talked about business people. We've talked about retired teachers and everyone else in this working class. And we can't forget about that woman who is seated in the house. She only depends on the husband because she has nothing else to do. She has no income. What would you advise these people?
I want to tell the woman what she's doing is equivalent to that job going out to the office. Because the first calling, especially if you're a mother, is to bring up that child in a godly way. That is the calling your mama in a family. So when the mother is supposed to give love to the husband and to the children. So if you are a homemaker, making that home comfortable, that is the greatest gift, the greatest calling a mother has. And I had forgotten to tell you when we began that my life verse is Proverbs 31:30. Charm is deceptive and beauty is fleeting, but a woman who fears the Lord is to be praised. And I think for that mother there, when you'll appear before God, first of all, you'll give an account of whether you are the right wife for that husband. Were you the right mother for those children? Did you bring up a godly generation? And then in the church, in the neighborhood, who did you influence for Christ? Who did you bring to God? Who in your family, to your parents, were you a good daughter? Did they see Christ in you? Did they smile because you were born in that family? Were you a gift to that family? And that job is a job nobody can pay you for.
Nobody
so
can
being
pay
a
them.
good mother, a good partner, a good companion, a good housekeeper is the biggest gift before we go out there to make money. In fact, I believe a man is the main breadwinner in a
he
family.
is. Even in the
Women
Bible,
should only
yeah.
win bread when you are winning bread, you are helping that man.
Wow.
You are helping him, complimenting him, or in some unfortunate cases when the man loses his job and you end up. But our work mainly is to nurture that family, to give them a good home. Yeah.
That brings me to another question. Maybe I would like you to just capitalize on about these working class women. We tend to forget so much about our children. We are busy investing and working to invest for retirement. We forget that we have a family and we have a husband to attend to. And we tend to leave all the duties to our house helps. And when we come in the evening, we don't have time for these people because we are exhausted.
I think, like I've said, your first calling as a woman is a wife to whoever, if you're a wife, a sister or a daughter to your parents, a mother to your children. The other things are secondary. So in my family hierarchy, God would come first, husband, children, job. Let the job be number 4, not number 1. So even when I'm doing that job as a big boss or whoever, when I go to the house, I should just be Mama Joe, and I should be a wife to my husband. Yes. So I think we should have our priorities right, even with the maid. Recently, I was quarreling somebody for watching too much TV. As a mother, you don't have time ya watch my TV nyingi. Maybe one special program after the supper is cooked and ready na watu wamekula, you can be having one program you watch. But ukiamukia TV at saa 3 in the morning, then I think something is wrong in that home. Because either the children will not be taken care of, the home will not be taken care of, the husband will not. Second calling is to pray. Women are called to pray for husbands, for children, for the nation. We are just called to do that. Yeah.
That's very important. About prayers, in fact, we are so easy. And the Bible says we are easily hurt by God as women. And God loves us so much. Now, there is another thing about us ladies who have a lot of power, especially at working places, and our husbands tend to earn a little lesser than us. And we take those powers way home back.
I think we should read the Bible, read Timothy, read the passage in Titus which talks of the hierarchy in the home, Serikali ya home. Who is the head of the home? What should the husband do? Should take care of the family. The wife should love the husband. The wife should respect the husband, respect. So there is authority. That structure, we should follow the godly and biblical structure. It doesn't talk about if you are earning more, you are the boss in the home.
It's true.
When you go there, you submit. And I know when you submit, you will be loved. The home with things will flow. So whether you are educated
and even
or
it
not,
will showcase even at your working area. It will come out.
In fact, I tell women, even, you know, some of us, we are in charge of a certain area, certain office. The style, leadership style of a woman should be different from the leadership style of a man. Your style should be more motherly. I feel good when people tell me when I'm mama etu. You know?
Wow.
Yeah.
It feels nice, very warm. Now, I would like you to tell us, is it important for this woman who is working, I mean, who is at home and expecting the husband to bring something, is it okay for her to start earning some savings? Because I think it's necessary.
If after she has taken care of the baby, washed the house, cooked the meals, washed the clothes, she still has strength, she can do something.
She can do something.
Like I know a lady who makes mats and sells, make your mandazis to chapos and sell to neighbors. But it shouldn't be expected of you that you must do it. But if you can, do it so that you have your little pocket money and so that you don't feel resentful. Bwana akikupimia pesa. Maybe you ask for money to make your hair, then the guy says, I've not paid rent. There's a term my husband normally uses, wants and needs. And he likes asking, is it a want or a need? So you may be asked, is it a want or a need? That nywele. So if you want to fulfill your wants, make your own money through
something for
whatever skill
yourself.
the Lord has given you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I know, but see ile ya kusema you are working na yako ni yako, so you put it in the pocket and you keep calling your husband, ni nini hujafika, pesa ya sukuma iko wapi? You know, that's what some of us
The home
do.
is yours. If you are working in that home, ni yenyu wawili. Joint effort. So si ya mtu moja.
It's true.
Yeah.
Honestly true. Teacher Rosalind, tell us briefly about this book before we conclude, because we're almost coming to the end of our show. Now, you briefly tell us where we can even find it, and our God will bless us.
The book is called Retirement Guide for Teachers and Other Workers,
Yes.
and I dedicated it to teachers because I've lived and worked around teachers for long. I gave James 3:1 which says, "My brethren, let not many of you become teachers, knowing that we shall receive a stricter judgment." James 3:1. So I was helping teachers to plan for their lives, plan for all aspects of their retirement, and open a conversation around the issue of retirement. You can get this book. It's not in bookshops, but you can get it from the church here. I'll give my link.
Yes.
I'll give my email and my phone number, so you can get it to the church here. You'll get my contacts here. And it's also now on Amazon, so I'll pass the link. That was done by a young man who I met recently.
Wow.
Gifted young man. He has helped me to put it on Amazon. I'm also writing the second book, Investing for Your Retirement. When it's ready, I'll look forward to Rachel inviting me here to come and continue the
Rebecca
conversation.
will invite you here.
Rebecca,
Yes.
to help me continue this conversation.
Wow. I'll definitely invite you, and we are going to maybe exhaust in the next show.
Yeah.
And our God will bless us. And I know people are very, very much encouraged by your words, and people have gotten enlightened. We are so grateful. Teacher Rosalind Litaba, we are so grateful for availing yourself, and may God bless you together with your family. You have a very great night.
Thank you for having me.
Yes.
My call to you is, wherever you are, bloom where you are planted.
Wow.
Thank you so much. Be
Thank
blessed.
you. Thank you. Good night.
Yeah.
It's excellent. A very nice topic there, and a very encouraging one for both genders, for every age, for everyone, whoever is living. May God bless you so much. See you next time. Have a very good night.
Bye.